McDragons, I'm back. So I have a very exciting reading vlog to do for you all. You probably aren't going to see this until May that I'm filming it because Isles of the Gods by Amie Kaufman does not come out until then. But because I've been following Pub Dates so religiously, I love that podcast. I've been hearing about Amie Kaufman write this book for about 2.5 years, and I'm so excited to dive in. I got an e-arc of it. Thank you so much, Penguin Teen. I really appreciate it. So I'm gonna dive in, or just Penguin in general. I don't know which division this book came from, but I'm really excited to dive in and start it. And then what I think I'm gonna do is I'm also gonna read Nightbirds this week. Which is the other book focus in that podcast, but I'm waiting for my physical copy to come from bookshop.org. I had a bit of a mishap with that, so I do have an arc of it. I do have an audiobook of it, but I really want to read it physically again because when I was reading it, I was off on my high from Comic-Con, and I don't think I enjoyed it as much as I would have if I just sat down and focused on it. So yeah, this is Amie Kaufman's solo fantasy debut, and I'm like thrilled. I know all the characters. And yeah, I'm just very excited. It is a sea-based adventure. And yeah, it is about 400 pages long. I just hope to make some progress today on it. I have to watch like a couple of YouTube videos as well and just sort of catch up on that. But yeah, I know all the characters. I have a fit, like, because I've been listening to her podcast. So yeah, I'm going to read about the first 50 pages and then I'm going to give you guys a check-in. So yeah, we're going to go read and I'm really excited to start. I was a little bit nervous. Because always highly anticipated books I put off and then I like never read them. That's not going to be the case today. And I'm also going to be listening to, for the moment, Aurora Rising by Amie Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. That's one of my favorite series that I've wanted to reread by them. So yeah, I'm going to go read the first 50 pages and then once I come back from working out and such, because I'm going to go to yoga today, I will give you guys an update. So yeah, let's get reading Isles of the Gods. I will include a really, really pretty photo for you. So yeah, let's get reading. Dragons, I'm back. So it's about almost like 3 o'clock. I did want to reading the first 50 pages in Isles of the Gods. I was also running like errands. I went to yoga, I came back, I did a bunch of stuff. I'm really liking this book. Like, I have always loved Amie Kaufman's writing style, and it's been a bit since I've read one of her books. I'm actually re-listening to Aurora Rising for a different just for pleasure, but I love her writing style. So if you don't know anything about this book, it's basically a seafaring adventure story, and you follow, I think it's 6 point of view characters, but we've only met 2 so far. So we've met Selly and we've met Jude. And Selly is a seafaring girl. She's basically been trapped in this port because her dad had to go somewhere else, and she's been on this ship. And the magic system in this story sort of reminds me a little bit of Avatar: The Last Airbender. If you have magician marks on your body, they're like these green marks. They help you connect to the elements, and there are element spirits. The first chapter of this story was about a war between the gods that happened 100 millennia ago, and then we flash to the future and we have Selly, who's trying to get back to her dad. And her dad promised he would return at the start of the season, but the window was closing when he can realistically return due to ice storms in like a different part of the world. And she had a very, very aggressive meet cute with Prince Leander, who is the prince of this world, who is now currently on the ship. And we met a couple of the side characters so far, but I'm just loving it. Amie Kaufman writes such rich worlds, and I am loving it. Like, I really am liking her writing style. I'm loving the characters. We don't know much. We just know that there is something. Selly does have, magician marks, but she's very proficient with her powers, which makes me think she doesn't have a ton of magic. And now there's war on the horizon in this community, so their adventuring and their seafaring might get a little bit more complicated. She has already met Prince Leander, and they had a very aggressive meet cute, and she's just not having him, and he is very, very self-important, and I love to like that type of friction in a fantasy story. I don't always love it in a contemporary, but I love it in a fantasy story. So, but I'm really liking it. We're gonna meet a new heroine. We're gonna meet Laskianax, who I think is part of our villain squad, and I'm just loving it. I definitely am taking my time with this book. I'm really not rushing. That is my goal for this year. I just want to slow down my reading and just take my time and not feel like I'm rushing, because a couple of books this month are going to be pretty long reads, and I just want to take my time with them. So yeah, I'm really liking it. I love the Port Miranda elements. Amy Kaufman always fuses a lot of diversity into her story. There's a character that we have loosely met. He's a scholar named Keegan, I think, and we are going to meet him later in the story, but I love him. We also met Jude, who is a bare knuckle boxer. And I'm just curious how all these characters connect. The first chapter was very intriguing because it was set in the past and it's kind of setting up now. And there's basically gods that are present in this world, which, unlike Divine Rivals, which I read recently, this is actually does have a present in their story. And yeah, I'm liking it. So I'm going to read another 100 pages or 50 pages. When I get to page 100, I'll give you guys another update. But I'm just going to take my time with this. I'm not going to rush it. And yeah, that is my plan. The puppy's sleeping. Yeah, I have a little bit of a headache. My sinuses and my allergies are not the greatest this week. I threw out my sleeping schedule earlier in the week and I just think it's like a little bit off. But I'm gonna go read a little bit more, watch a little bit more YouTube, and I'll update you guys when I read about 50 more pages. Bye, Book Dragons. Book Dragons, I'm back. I did want to say that I did wind up getting up to 26% in Isles of the Gods. I am really liking this book. I don't know if it's because I like Amy Kaufman's writing style. I don't know if it's just because like it's a good book or if it's just because I feel so invested because I've listened to this podcast, but I am devouring it. And like normally I try to rush read things just because I know I have a ton of stuff to read, but I am taking my sweet time and I like it. We've also just met two new characters since last time we met Laskia, who was sort of the villain of the book, like a villain-ish character. And then we met Keegan, who is just a boy after my own soul. He's a scholar. He's very, very bookish. He really got sort of encountered into this quest because of Leander, who's the prince. And basically this whole premise is Sally is on her father's ship. Her father can't get back, so she's sailing on one of her father's ship with another crewmate. And Leander, the prince, has to do a very important ritual that's been missed by a year, and he's required to do it or the gods might wake and it might brew this war that's happening. And the war's brewing anyway, but if the god wakes, it's definitely going to happen. So his sister, who's the queen of this realm, sends him on this adventure and they sort of tap this ship and Sully is stuck on this ship. Sully was really hoping she would go visit her dad, like see her dad this year, but that's not gonna happen. And then Keegan is a scholar who might be escaping from his own past, I'll say that. And they're on this boat together. And also Keegan and Leander have a connection from the past. And also Jude, the guy on the other side that like wants to take Leander down, also has a connection. So it's a very captivating story. There's a lot of like hidden things in the story that like I just want to know more of. I love the ship setting as well. I just love what Amy Kaufman has done very, very well in all of her reads. And I would equate this to Mary Lou in a lot of senses, is just the ease of the diversity in her stories and just how it's like very, very nonchalant. And I love that. Like, I love reading her characters. I love reading her worlds because it almost feels like these characters could be anyone. And it is 1920-esque, but it's very like 1920-esque in like different ways. I really love complicated heroes and villains, and that's what this story has. Leander is just so charming, and I'm just like laugh out loud. There's laugh out moments throughout this book, and just there was a line where like there's just so many good lines in this story. It's definitely gonna be a book I'm gonna want to tab. I'm really liking it. Like, I thought I was getting my hopes up a little bit, but I'm really enjoying it. I love a good quest. I love where the characters are forced to go on a quest together. I love when characters are sort of forced to work up and team up together, which currently we have 3 on the side of good and 3 on the side of bad, I guess. It's a very there's a lot of religious undertones in this story, especially for Leander and Laskia, so that's like a very interesting element as well. And you also have a lot about class differences between Leander, Keegan, and Jude, and their dynamics is very, very interesting. And normally books I read focus a lot on female relationships and female dynamics, but Leander has a lot of complicated male relationships in his life, which I'm also really, really liking. And I just love the mythology about like the magician marks. That's gonna kind of go in a way that I wasn't expecting. As I said, I did listen to the podcast, so I had a pretty good idea what was happening, but sort of like when I read Nightbirds, there was some big plot twist that just blew my mind. That was like, oh my god, how did you keep this a secret in talking about this book? But again, they're witches, they're story witches. They know how not to spoil their own books, but there's some books, some stuff in the first like 100 pages of this book that's blowing my mind that I didn't know about it before, but I love it. Yeah, so tomorrow I'm going back to work. Hopefully this week will be a little bit easier. I did finish my grading, which was great and really, really necessarily and super needed. I did shopping this weekend, which was really, really important as well for the show. I am listening to Aurora Rising, the first book in the Aurora cycle. I love the audiobook for that, and I'm gonna probably get some work done like outside of my office, so I'm gonna pick an audiobook with me. But yeah, my goal for tomorrow is to read at least 35 to present 35. And yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. I'm gonna go watch The Last of Us, the last episode, because I feel like that needs to get a rewatch. I really haven't watched anything this week, and I was just trying to catch up on YouTube cues because I don't want my YouTube queue to fall too far over. I'm also gonna try to listen on the train today. We'll see how that goes as well. But yeah, I will talk to you guys for another update tomorrow when I get home from work. My whole goal for this week is to update you guys once every single day. That is my goal. I will see if I can do it. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, Book Dragons. I'm back. I'm actually doing better at updating, which is good. It is still Monday, which is great. I did wind up reading about 50 more pages of my book, and I'm a little bit stressed. I'll be honest. My characters are in some very, very perilous situations, and I'm concerned for all of them. They're deep souls. It is like a very like action-packed story, and there's a lot happening, so like I feel like I just want to keep reading because like a lot of my favorites are in peril. But I remember when I heard Amy Kaufman talking about this book, like originally, I was very convinced this is the book we were getting from the start. So it actually was a lot of like setup to get there, but I'm loving it. These characters are just so sweet. Keegan is my soul animal. Like Keegan is me. Like there was a moment in this book where something happened and I was like, that would be my reaction. If someone tried to do that to something I loved as much as Keegan did, I would be devastated and heartbroken. He is definitely my favorite character. I also love Leander. He's like such a spoiled prince, but like he has secret depths, and I'm just loving it. I don't want to talk too much spoilers. I mean, you're gonna see this like by the time the book's coming out in like May. May's a really, really busy month for me, so but I'm just loving it. I think Amy Kaufman writes really like captivating characters that I'm just loving. Sally is also one that's like growing on me. I just love all the characters, and I'm really obsessed sort of with this world, like this sailing based world that we have. I didn't get to finish watching The Last of Us last night, so I think I'm gonna read a little bit more of this and maybe read for like another 30 minutes, and then I'm just going to watch The Last of Us, which is what I wanted to do. But I'm loving this book. Like it's been a while since I've read a book that has captured me this much and that like I'm taking the time reading. It's been quite a bit. It's been a very, very long time, so I'm really, really loving it. This is definitely going to be a new favorite of mine, like very much so. And Amy Kaufman is just a great writer. So I'm gonna go back to reading. I'll probably update you guys again tomorrow. Tomorrow's my busy day. I have rehearsal tomorrow. I have to try to get some show stuff done tomorrow, which I didn't really get any show stuff done today other than finish grading. I have to start figuring out paint. There's just a lot of elements to putting up a show that people don't really consider when you're directing, that like you have to get all this stuff and you have to get the means to get all this stuff, and it's just it's a lot. My options for like costumes came in today. Well, some of them. We're also doing themed week at work, so I had to come up with a costume for tomorrow. So yeah, all that's happening. Sorry, I'm playing with my dog's bone and she's not here. But yeah, I'm gonna go read. My goal is by the time you see me tomorrow that I'm gonna be 200 pages into this book. I don't know if that's doable, but that's the goal. I also have a super long commute tomorrow, like coming back home, so I'm just gonna hope my Kindle's charged and I can keep reading. But yeah, if I feel like there's like something, like right now all my characters are in peril. Like I don't know what has happened to any of my characters. And when Amy Kaufman pitched this book, she told us about like 3 good characters and 3 bad characters that we were meeting, and they're all in peril. So I'm gonna go back to reading, and I'll give you guys an update when I can. It will probably be tomorrow, but if something disastrous occurs and I'm like near tears, I will admit the last like 10% I was like very happy that I was not on a train because I was very, very concerned. Still concerned, but that is what happens when you read an action adventure novel. People are going to get hurt. So I'm gonna go back to reading, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, Book Dragons. Hey friends, I'm back. Took me a little bit while longer to read my 50 pages for today. I normally do try to read 100, but the train today was not working for me in any way. I was having a lot of time getting on my train, and then when I finally got on my train, actually I didn't have trouble getting on it, but like finding places to sit was very, very challenging. So I just wound up reading about 50 pages. I also read a little bit of my Michelle Obama audiobook, which I'm really liking. Today was the first day that I got to like go upstairs to the costume room and start organizing props and costumes and stuff like that, which is always fun, just takes a lot of time. But I'm really, really loving Isles of the Gods. I just think this story is so rich and the characters are so compelling. And as I said in a previous clip, like I haven't really read a character group like this that I've really felt invested in, and like I've really like everyone's point of view. And I think this book has a lot of shades of gray with morality and like moral elements. It's just a great read. I think definitely Leander and Keegan are my favorite. Like Keegan's my soul animal. He's just such a sweet guy, and Sally has a really complicated backstory that I didn't know anything about. Like I went into this book knowing a lot about it, but there's a lot of stuff that Amy Kaufman's doing which is just so rich. She's making some very interesting choices, which I really do like. It's reminding me of when I read the Illuminae files and the choices that got made in that book. It's just a very, very captivating read. I'm loving the setting. The characters are the highlights. I feel like we have like, the villainous characters, but like they're even captivating and they're very, very compelling. There's also diversity fluid in throughout all these reads. I don't normally I struggle with love to hate or like hate to more in like a romance book, like because those books never really work for me. However, the one place I do like hate to more is in a fantasy setting, because I feel like situations that the characters go through puts them in a really, really perilous situation, which I think can produce love. So I'm really liking Leander and Sally's dynamics. And it is definitely a very like cutthroat book. I will say that. Like I'm also watching The Last of Us, and I would classify that as like a very, very cutthroat TV show. So it's giving me similar vibes, but oh my goodness, it is so great. My goal is to read another 50 pages tomorrow. I also don't have rehearsal tomorrow. And I hope to like also make some progress on the audiobook, but that's just like what I'm doing. I was gonna listen to Aurora Rising, but I need to do that when I'm like sitting still because it's a reread for me. But yeah, I'm really, really liking it. My goal is to read at least another 50 pages tomorrow. I also found my ear pod so I can listen to my stuff on home, which is why I'm so behind my YouTube queue. But yeah, I'm really loving Isles of the Gods. I think it's probably going to be a high 4, maybe even a 5-star read for me. It's really, really fun. Right now, if I had to rate it, like if it ended right now, I would probably give it a 5-star because I just really love the characters. I love the setting. I love the dynamics. I'm all here for it. And yeah, it comes out in May, but if you want a little bit of a sneak peek, I would definitely check out Pub Dates with Amy Kaufman and Kate J. Armstrong, because she really set me up for this book, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm loving it so much. But yeah, I have a sleeping puppy, so I'm going to try to let her go to bed. I'm going to go watch a little bit more of The Last of Us before I head to bed, and then tomorrow we will check back in. Bye, Book Dragons. Hi friends! I'm back. It is Wednesday. I did not wind up going to get my hair done today because my hairdresser was sick. So we're going to deal with a new hairdo today, which I don't love, but it is okay. So I did wind up getting up to page, or like 63%, well 60% into Isle of the Gods by Amy Kaufman. Still really, really loving it. Like I'm just devouring it. I really want to take my time with this read, which is not something I've done recently. I've always been a quick to rush, quick to read kind of girl. But I think it's just because like I'm fearful of long books, which is so silly because there is no competition in numbers. So I'm really going to take my time with this in the next couple of reads. I also got to prove for a couple of fantasy books that like I'm really excited for, and I have to read a couple of them. So I think I'm going to take my time with this. My goal is to just read 2% 75 by tomorrow. Yeah, it's like it's a little bit before 8. So I'm probably going to read a little bit more. I'm so far behind in my YouTube queue. But yeah, that's okay. I got a little bit of listening done today, but it was mostly my Aurora book that by Amy Kaufman and J. Kristoff. I'm liking it. It's a reread. It's a nice thing to like sort of like decompress with because I have to do a lot of like planning for my show tomorrow. I'm trying to have a better work-life balance where I do some stuff for the show so I'm not totally overwhelmed, because I really want to avoid doing work on the weekends which I know eventually I'm going to have to do. We also, I think, chose a tentative date for the show, which is going to be a little bit later than my other show that I did, which I think would be a better life choice. But yeah, that's where we're at. I'm really liking it. I'm loving the characters. I'm just enjoying it. The plot is very compelling and very, very fast paced. It is very morally gray story, which I do like, and I just really love the characters. The quest element, which is one of my favorites in books, is like very quick paced as well. And I normally sometimes struggle with more than like 3 characters because I feel like I don't know them all, but I really feel very invested in these characters and their stories. And even our people on the side of not so good, I'm still invested in. So yeah, definitely if I have a favorite, it would probably be Keegan and Leander. I mean, I also love Sally. Like, the heroes are really, really strong. I love the world. And Amy's just doing a really, really good job. So I'm going to go read a little bit more. If I get up to 75 before I go to bed tonight, I'll definitely update you, but it's probably going to be a tomorrow update. Also tomorrow I have drama rehearsal because we have rehearsal every Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I might not update tomorrow. I'm going to try when I come home to update and be more consistent. But unless something happens like before I go to bed tonight that I really have to chat to you about, I will definitely do that. So I will see you guys for my next clip. But so far, really liking it. Definitely a high 4-star, maybe a 5-star. But I just want to keep reading. I think there's going to be a very, very imperative scene coming up, which I want to go read. So I'm going to go do that. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, Book Dragons. Friends, I'm back. I think I successfully updated every day this week so far, which is super good. So I call that a win. I actually read a lot more last night than I was like planning. So now I'm like 78% into Isles of the Gods. I'm loving it. The thing that I think this book is doing so well, and it's been so long since I read this book, maybe since I read something by this author, where I feel like the stakes are so high in the first book in a series, and like a lot has happened, but like it's gut-wrenching. Like, so many things is happening in this book, and I feel so connected to everyone, and you're getting so many side plots, you're getting so many interconnections with the characters. It's a great time. There's plot points that like I never would have predicted and never saw coming. I'm so captivated by this story. Like, I literally, if I would like if there was like a day in the week where I literally had to do nothing, I would have finished this book in like a day because it's so captivating. And I'm loving it. I just signed up for the pre-order campaign, which I hope I get the pin. If I don't, it's okay. But I'm loving the characters. But I think because the stakes are so high and the stakes feel so like important, I'm like very, very captivating. I love a good quest, and this book has that element to it like so nicely. But I also just love the characters, and I just love the male leads in the story. Like, there's so many of them. I love Sally. She's a great main character too, but and her point of view is fascinating, but I'm just loving Leander and Keegan a lot. I think they're going to be my favorite. Keegan is definitely like my soul animal. I love him. But yeah, my goal is to get up to 88% before I go to bed tonight. I don't know if that's possible. I did have rehearsal tonight. But I went shorter, like going home was shorter. There's been a lot of train issues at my a ton of train issues at my job, like just getting back and getting home. They not even from work, but like it's just because they added like a whole new train department, and it's just been making the commute a rush. And on Tuesday I almost got trampled when I went to Penn, and I don't want to do that, so I've been going to Jamaica, which is not my normal train station, so a lot of drama with that. But yeah, I'm really, really liking this book, like quite a bit. I feel like it's been something I miss, like the intensity in reads, and like I always felt like first books in YA fantasy series just don't carry that much depth because you really need to build the depth. Amy Kaufman has figured out that balance, and I love it. I really, really love it. So yeah, I'm gonna go read a little bit more. Maybe I'll take the puppy out. I'm also on Friends with Peace Love Books, who I love always. She's great. And I will talk to you guys for another update. You might see me Sunday. I don't really ever update Friday because I have to do a lot of like pre-work stuff, and I gotta do a bunch of stuff this week. I gotta book my stuff for ALA, and I gotta do a bunch of stuff for Alice. Like, when I get home, I gotta do a bunch of prep stuff. So yeah, but good news is grades are done, which was a big, issue last week. Yeah, so I'm gonna go read for a little bit, take the puppy out of the cage, and I'll give you guys an update when I have it. If I have an update before I go to bed tonight, I will definitely give you guys that. But if not, I'll give you guys that update tomorrow. Bye, Book Dragons. Dragons, I'm back. I just want to wrap up this reading vlog. I did wind up finishing Isles of the Gods by Amy Kaufman yesterday, and I loved it. If I gave out 6 stars, this would probably be a 6-star book for me because it is perfect in every way. I loved it. I think the ending was really shocking and really surprising, and now I'm like dying for book 2. Like, I know she's not even done writing it yet. I think like she's in the middle of writing it. But oh my goodness, this was great. I definitely want to reread. I definitely want to tab it. There were so many quotes towards the very end that just like really gutted me and like got me in the emotions. I never cry when I read stuff, but this book came really, really close to making me cry. I just felt so much for Sally, Keegan, and Leander especially. Like, those characters went through a lot in this book, and I just love them. So if you want to get reacquainted with this world, I would highly recommend you check out Pub Dates by Amy Kaufman and KJ Armstrong. They go through the process of both their books, Nightbirds and Isles of the Gods, and I felt like for a really complicated YA fantasy book, I felt like that podcast was a great resource. So yeah, I would definitely recommend you check that out. It doesn't come out till May. You have some time. They're really, really fun episodes, and you won't have to wait nearly as long as I did. But yeah, definitely a 5-star read, definitely going to be a new favorite, definitely going to make those lists at the end of the year. I'm so happy I finally got around to reading it. Thank you so much, Teen, for an early arc. You will see this video in early May, right when the book's about to come out, and I will talk to you for my next video. Bye, Book Dragons!